Hello class, we are going to be examining your syllabus in this little video here. So as you can see, this syllabus is posted on Moodle. You can have a look at it anytime you want. You can see up top here, History 1120, the Fall 2023 credit information here. My office, though we can't obviously meet there, which stinks. Says when the lecture time is, and that's only really important during the time of quizzes, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later on in the semester when you have a quiz too, but they will be during that quiz time, that class time, I should say. So there's my email address there. That's also very important. You can also contact me through Moodle Messenger if you prefer. But there will be office hours, and the link that you can see on Moodle, you just click right onto it, and you'll appear right into an audio conference and a video conference with me as well. And those will be on Wednesdays from 1 until 2 p.m. So again, a brief description of the course. This course examines the development of Canada until 1867. An emphasis is placed on Aboriginal and European relations, the history of New France, military conflicts, the political and economic development of British North America, social and cultural history, and the project of Confederation. Throughout the course, particular attention will be paid to key issues and debates in Canadian historiography, which is, of course, the study of history, which you will grow to understand and will become a part of this course as well. So again, you can read the learning outcomes there. That's more just generally speaking for me in terms of what I'm going to demonstrate to you that I'm instructing. The structure of the course, originally it's supposed to be delivered as a lecture and a seminar, but the seminar will be a little bit different now that we're delivering this via alternate methods, and the seminar will take place in the forms and in the form of audio responses. And we'll get into that in a little bit. Now, participation in Moodle is essential. If you're watching this video, you've already registered in Moodle, you're already enrolled in Moodle. If you're having problems with Moodle, or if you're having problems accessing these resources, you must reach out to me as soon as possible. We will figure them out. We have an excellent tech support staff that can help you through any of your tech problems. That's not just to do with Moodle, to do with anything regarding the course structure. So please, please, please do not be afraid to reach out to me. Now, this brings us to the textbook, which is honestly an absolutely fantastic resource. When I started teaching this course a couple of years back, I was extremely, I would say, hesitant, maybe even perhaps suspicious of a digital textbook. And then I used this Belshaw text. It is absolutely splendid. It is such an amazing resource. And perhaps best of all, it comes at no cost to students. It's one of the finest Canadian history textbooks I've ever read, certainly also for the introductory level. And it's a living, breathing document. It's updated relatively frequently, which is amazing for a textbook of its size and breadth. It's going to be a huge resource for you throughout the semester. And you access it through clicking on that exact link. Now, that through the actual syllabus itself, it should click you right through. I'm going to recommend you bookmark that, you favorite it, whatever you'd like, star it. If you're using Google Chrome, you're going to need to use it a few times. And I also recommend that you visit the TRU History Students handbook there. It's also really an excellent resource, especially when you start essay writing. Now, the required readings, it sort of says how these things are going to work. It's all going to be online. Obviously, there's going to be stuff that's going to be posted on Moodle. I'm going to post articles. I'm going to post links through the library website. We're going to get into all that as it sort of comes along throughout the semester. But all the resources that I'm going to ask of you are going to be accessible through Moodle, which is, of course, why Moodle is so important. Oops, sorry. Course requirements, again, this includes a research paper, audio responses, forum participation, a research paper proposal, and 2 quizzes. The quizzes are each going to be worth 10%, and they are going to be scheduled during the class time. That's so that you'll never have 2 quizzes on top of each other. It's because during your class schedule, you will have had time carved out for this course. That's why we're going to hold the quizzes during those exact times. We'll talk about the quizzes more closer to the dates. The research paper. For this course, you'll be required to write a research essay. The essay will be between 1,200 and 1,500 words in length. It will involve the use of secondary sources. We're going to get into so much detail about the essay a little bit later on in this course. The research paper proposal will be a little bit before that, and it's about getting you started on your path towards crafting the research essay. 500 to 750 word maximum. As you can see, not a ton of work here. The forum participation, this one's I've had a lot of success with this recently. It's a lot of fun. We're going to ask you to sort of engage with something relevant to the course materials, 200 to 300 words, and it'll be graded out of 2 for content and completion, and you'll get a grade at the end of the semester on your form participation. Now, again, I'm not looking here for novels. I'm not looking here for a ton of writing. Just as long as you're putting thought and effort into these responses, you're going to do absolutely fine. And those are grades that are relatively easy to attain. And the audio response is the same sort of idea. I'm going to get into the audio response a little bit more detail in the audio response section. There'll be another short video that'll show you how to post your audio response, but it's going to somewhat simulate the ability to speak in class. And I know it's very difficult to sometimes raise your hand in class or speak in class. It's also very difficult to simulate a classroom environment, and it is somewhat intimidating also to record your own voice. And I just encourage you to come to me if you're having any problems. But we'll get into the audio response technicalities in the audio response section in that video. But you're going to be verbally responding 2 minutes or less with regards to an issue raised in class, and you'll be able to hear everyone's responses. So it'll sound a bit like a dialogue, and you'll be able to respond to each other. And truly, it has been a very successful model, and we're going to be using Moodle's functionality to do that. Now, this is something that I should mention to you right away here from up top here. When I was doing a course over the summer, we did realize that the use of the Safari browser is a problem with Mac users. So if you're using a Mac and you're using Safari, I highly, highly encourage you, and this is not just for this course, but for Moodle in general. Moodle's resources, especially Big Blue Button, which we're not going to use that much this semester, really doesn't seem to like Safari. So if you're on Apple and you have the ability to change your browser, perhaps to Chrome or Firefox, I highly recommend you do that for the purposes of Moodle and for the purposes of Big Blue Button. That's just a word of advice, especially with regards to the audio responses. We had a lot of students have some difficulty with that if you're using Safari, which I know is a very common browser. Now, the rest of this is about plagiarism and some boilerplate stuff about plagiarism. And again, we're going to be talking about that stuff closer to the actual essay and things like that, and the quizzes. And that rounds out our discussion of the syllabus. If you've got any questions about the syllabus, please don't hesitate to send me an email to the email address listed there. Happy to chat about anything. We're going to go into detail about each of those assignments in far greater detail closer to the actual due dates. But yeah, that's the course outline, and thanks for listening.